It's coffee time with Peter Gomez. We're live on 92.1 on FM. Online, you'll find us at www.wcr.gm. Usually, we're on YouTube. I don't think we will be today because, a strange situation in studio. And it's perhaps a mark of the strength of coffee time that we are sitting ministers and permanent secretaries and managing directors in total darkness, and nobody is complaining. And the next person welcoming into a very dark studio is the Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Service, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. You must have been shocked to walk into a dark room.
Well, I'm not shocked.
You're not?
No, I expected.
You expected?
I suspected. No, I suspected there might be some electrical failure.
Yeah.
So
it's totally internal, nothing to do with NAWEC. Totally our fault. There's something with one of the circuit breakers, and we just don't want to start working on it while the program is on air, in case something goes terribly wrong, and we have to be off air for a few minutes or even hours. Welcome back. Let me go through the newspapers because we had started off with your new colleague, the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education.
Oh, she was here this morning.
She was here. She started us off, accompanied by you've never been here with your permanent secretary. She came with her permanent secretary. So let's go through the newspapers first. Usually that's where we start, but for today, we just crave your indulgence because there may be one or two things
Sure.
we might like to follow up with you. Let's start with the point. UDP goes after IEC after granting NPP Congress extension. IGP urged to keep eye on billboard thefts in GBA. Government cancellation of building maternity ward at Chairman Anga's Diaspora Club. That's something for the minister to deal with. Gambia prepares to host interregional ministerial meeting on anti-doping. IEC set to conduct by-election in Masembe ward. GFA says Gambians are suffering from poor economic governance. And truck driver who allegedly killed 4 in Kafuta appears in court today. Next, Foraya, modern slavery continues to rear its ugly head in Libya as dozens are kidnapped for ransom. IEC to conduct by-election for Masembe ward in Lower River region. There is zero tax on imported basic food commodities, says GRA head. Police confirm 4 deaths in fatal road accident at Kafuta. And PWDs, persons with disabilities, sensitized on immunization and vaccination. Next, the Voices front page. UDP raises concern over IEC's failure to ensure NPP holds biennial congresses. NEA to toughen stance on street littering. DG Mboob says capacity building is critical tool for GID's professional integrity. MC Cham describes Agric Ministry as worst performing ministry. IEC to conduct council by-election in Mansa Konko. And Dutch national convicted for threatening violence. And finally, the Standard. Nigerian prophet predicts opposition will remove Barrow in 2026. Ismaila wouldn't like to hear that. Kafuta accident death toll rises to 4. UDP slams IEC over failure to enforce rule against NPP. Imam Ceesay urges Rauda to resolve internal dispute. IEC to hold Masembe by-election following Councillor Korita's death. And GPPA facilitates 35 procurement officers in Ghana University. Your first look at Tuesday's newspaper front pages. We thank the editors and reporters of The Point, Foraya, The Voice, and The Standard. Why is the IEC not forcing, not just the NPP, but even your Citizens Alliance to hold their congresses on time?
No, but I think, good morning, by the way, and good morning to all the listeners. I think political parties, if they feel that they cannot hold the conferences within the specified time, can seek extension. There is nothing wrong with that. It's not against the law.
Each party has 2 years to plan for one meeting.
Yes, but remember also, there can be circumstances beyond our control. Also, it is a Congress. As long as you hold it, and also IAC gives that extension, I think it's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay. All right.
And it's not only the NPP that are sought extension from the IEC. NRP sought extension and was granted, and CA sought extension and was granted. So for me, I don't see this thing as an issue, to be honest.
There's this headline: government cancellation of building maternity ward at Chairman angers Diaspora Club. Why would government cancel the building of a maternity ward?
Well, actually, what happened was that clearance was given to the Diaspora Club to build a maternity ward at Chairman Nyanija Central Health Center there. Then later it came to the attention of government and the World Bank had a project to build the entire hospital, not only in Chairman Nyanija, but also hospitals, other health centers across the country. And Chairman Nyanija was part of those hospitals. And I think it made, based on what I understand from the Ministry of Health, is that made more sense to the Ministry of Health to go with the World Bank project, which will have a more comprehensive building refurbishment of the entire hospital and also other hospitals as part of the social intervention from the World Bank, than to just focus on the ward. I mean, I've seen some posts around saying it is politically motivated.
Isn't it?
Well, does it mean also that the group that is behind this thing are also political? Because if they're not political, I see not why government should be political. Is politically motivated. I mean, government will only there's a reaction here. If the group was not politically motivated, I see no reason why government's reaction will be politically motivated. Government reaction will only be politically motivated if the group is political. But if the group is not political, it's apolitical, I see no reason why they can accuse it politically motivated. I mean, every country in the world has their own policies, and this is aligned to the NDP. Today, no diaspora group from anywhere in the world, when American diaspora can go to the US or the UK or any country and say we are going to build a maternity like that. There should be standards and processes. I'm not sure whether those processes were followed. I cannot speak on that. What I understand is that a clearance was given to build the maternity ward.
Which is why you can't say they just walked in and said they would build this.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, government has an overall program within the healthcare sector. And if the World Bank and donor partners come up with something which is better, which will build the entire hospital or and also other hospitals also along the way, and government made an assessment and realized that this is what is best for the country, I think based on that assessment, government revoked that clearance. At the end of the day, what is important is that there is a proper healthcare facility in Chairman Nyanija, whether it's built by the Diaspora Club or whether it's built by the World Bank donors. And if government made an assessment and realized that for the best interest of the people of Nyanija, Chairman Nyanija, and the government and the people of the Gambia, this approach is better than the previous approach, I think based on that assessment, they revoked the clearance.
What is wrong with having two? If the Diaspora Club had already identified this Chairman Health Center to refurbish or build up again, from scratch, and the World Bank came along, I'm sure there's more than enough space, for the government to say to the World Bank, okay, let's go and do, a whole new project in Chairman at this end of Chairman.
No, but there's only one health center in Chairman Manager.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think that's
what is wrong with having two? What is wrong with having two? So you let the Diaspora Club do the, Chairman, the existing one, and get the World Bank to build a new one.
No, but I mean, it's all part of the Ministry of Health's program to refurbish and to build an entire brand new hospital, health center in Chairman Manager. Yeah. And I think it would.
So let the Diaspora Club do the refurbishing of the Chairman Health Center and get World Bank.
No, they're not doing the health center. They are just doing the maternity ward.
Yeah. Is the maternity ward not part of the health
That's
center?
what I'm saying. But here we are doing the entire comprehensive refurbishment, a comprehensive brand new structures, infrastructure there.
Is it time?
And it wouldn't, based on my understanding and that the Minister of Health assessment, it wouldn't make sense just one group to do the maternity ward. There'll be no standards there. There'll be no uniformity. And for the purpose of uniformity and for the purpose of infrastructural uniformity and standards, based on what I understand from my engagement with the Minister of Health, is that the World Bank brought a better proposal, a better intervention, which based on their assessment, is good, is the best approach, and they went for that. And one thing that needs to be clear is that we appreciate the work of the diaspora. We appreciate the work of the Diaspora Club. They've been very active in supporting and doing philanthropic work in education, in healthcare. They've supported the prison services, another support they've brought. But I think here, it's in nobody's interest for accusations and counter accusations, saying it's politically motivated. I think here what we need is dialogue. If government first gives permit based on good faith, and then based on the same good faith and a proper assessment, they revoke that permit, I think what could have been done is to sit and dialogue with government to find a solution than, just coming out and, making accusations that it is politically motivated. If the group is not political, I don't see why government's action should be political. I think government did this based on good faith and based on what they think is in the best interest of the country and based on an assessment that going with the World Bank project, which not only focus on Chairman Nyanya, but other health centers across other satellite villages in the CRR and other parts of the country. Government think that is the best approach. What the Diaspora Club could have done is to engage government and dialogue with them, just like they did when they were having the clearance, and find a way forward. But making accusations, I don't think that solves the problem. It doesn't help anyone.
And specifically, the accusation is that Sidin Jai, all right, the deputy speaker, who is a very powerful person in the ruling National People's Party, who would ever have thought of that? Coming from the area, is convinced if the refurbishment had gone ahead at the end of the day, it would be credited to the UDP. This is the allegation.
But
is why,
again, I'm asking, is the Diaspora Club linked to the UDP then? If
they're saying they're not.
So that's what I'm saying. So why are they making that insinuation?
And that is what is hurting them.
So what I'm saying,
because they made very clear that they are apolitical.
My first point is Sirinja is not the Minister of Health. He doesn't work within the Ministry of Health. He doesn't make decisions concerning the Ministry of Health when it comes to infrastructural development, where it is placed, and he doesn't. So I think that is an unfair accusation against Honorable Sirinja. That is one. The second thing is that I think these accusations don't help anyone. I think Diaspora Club has the people who run the Diaspora Club are serious, mature people who love country. We can give them that credit. Now, if they believe that, to be honest, their organization is not politically affiliated to any political party, and government has given them a permit and revoked same, I think the best thing could have been is to engage government in a dialogue and sit and discuss with government to find a way forward. A solution. There's always a solution. Even if not Nyanija, they could move that project to, so like you said, somewhere else. But just coming out with accusations.
No, I said move the World Bank project to somewhere else.
No, I'm giving just an example. That it could be moved. You could play around with things. But what I'm just saying is that when you made the request for the permit, nobody knew about it. You got the permit. The permit is revoked. Engage government. Sit with the Ministry of Health. Say, look, we got this permit. It's revoked. Why? How can we work with this? Work with government, because we see them as partners. Because the Diaspora Club complements government's efforts in development. So therefore, they need to act as partners and not just go about making accusations, accusing people, accusing government. That doesn't help anyone. It doesn't solve the problem. That is my point, what I'm saying. I think here, if government makes decisions and government make assessment and makes decisions, that is what governments do every day. So if we make a decision to revoke a particular license and you're not happy with it, engage government that gave you the license. Sit with them, have a dialogue with them, and find a way forward. But making these accusations, that is my point, is not helping anyone.
We're trying to, hear from both sides. I've asked for arrangements to be made for me to speak directly to the Minister of Health, and I will likely have the Diaspora Club here before the end of the week, so that we get to the bottom of this problem. We have a report on this, and the people in Nyanija are very concerned, because once the Diaspora Club's news had come up that the maternity ward was going to be upgraded, of course, they were excited. Mm-hmm. And now that it's off and they've been promised a World Bank thing that doesn't seem to have a timeline, and that's the issue. When will the World Bank project start, and how long will it take? Because apparently these people had even committed funds already. I hear they have already invested $500,000.
Yes, I've also heard that. Yeah. So like I said, Peter, for me, the government of the Gambia appreciates interventions from the diaspora. We appreciate it. And government cannot do it alone. And government has always been consistently calling for that government cannot do it alone. Let everybody take responsibility, particularly those in the diaspora. Since President Barrow came to power, he created that environment for the diaspora to engage not only politically, but also to engage in social interventions. That is why we want to work with the diaspora. That is why the president is a special advisor on the diaspora. So I think when situations like this arises, mudslingings and character assassinations and accusations don't solve the problem. What solves the problem is sit and dialogue and negotiate and find a solution. Every problem has a solution. I know the Minister of Health, Dr. Samate. He's a very, very lucid gentleman. And I think he listens, he understands, and he's very passionate about the development of this country. I think and I know some of the people who are engaged in the Diaspora Club, they love country. I think if they had sat down, if this problem had arose and they sat down, for me, I think they would find a solution to the problem. I don't think that the character assassinations really were the way forward.
Okay. There's another headline I want you to discuss. GFA says Gambians are suffering from poor economic governance. That's definitely true, isn't it?
You see, what I've observed in this country is that people, to gain relevance and to stay relevant, people just make wild accusations, saying things that they don't even understand. I believe that the person who wrote this, if you ask him what does economic governance, he wouldn't tell you anything. I mean, these are headlines anyway. But this is what President Barrow has really the environment he has created. People can speak their mind. People can say things whatever they want to say. This doesn't reflect the reality on the ground. Currently, Gambia is one of the most progressive countries in the sub-region when it comes to fiscal and monetary policy. Our economy is growing. We've controlled inflation. Our debt ratio has gone down. Our debt to GDP ratio has gone down from 85% to 65%. Inflation has gone down to almost 10%. Our economy is growing to 5.9 by the end of the year. So for me, I think what these people are saying, whether it's GFA or I'm not even sure what that entity is while...
Come on, you know it's an opposition party.
Well, I'm not sure, is it?
It is.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised then.
And you know who the leader is. He's contributed to what you're taking over now.
But I believe that Peter, I don't think this is coming from the leader of the party. I don't think the leader of the party will make such a statement. He knows better. These are coming from some of the surrogates who are within the party who make these wild statements just to get attention. So we don't listen to this. What we are focused on, Peter, is to deliver to the Gambian people. The president has promised to deliver, and he's delivering. And like I said, I'm going to repeat it. The kind of explosive development we are seeing in this country in the past 2-3 years, it's never happened in this country, but it is unprecedented. So for me, that is our focus. We want to deliver. We want to ensure that we provide employment for young people. We want to make sure that we build the roads that we promised to build. We want to ensure that we have not only people have access to healthcare, but also quality healthcare. We want to ensure young people have access to education to build their skills. The schools have quality education. This is the president's focus. This is what the president is focusing on. So that is why we might not, sometimes we don't even want to respond to such wild statements that makes no sense.
Well, I'll tell you one appointment that somebody you worked with at the UTG, Dr. Burangorenjai, is pleased with is that of Dr. Habibatu Drame as Minister of Basic Education. Good morning, Peter, he says. I'm impressed with Dr. Drame's vision for and plans to make MOPSE more responsive to the educational needs of the country and the students particularly, and hope that they will be realized during her tenure. I wish you had given listeners and educationists like us an opportunity to pose questions to her and or share their thoughts on the way forward. I suggest you invite her for a whole program as soon as possible for listeners to engage with her on burning educational issues. One thing that she should do immediately is to identify seasoned and highly qualified educationists who will be able to share their expertise and bring them together as an advisory body or think tank on how to make education more meaningful to the country and its people in this technological age. She's very articulate and confident. Absolutely. I was really impressed.
Yes, I mean, this is the president's vision. The credit goes to the president, who was able to identify and appoint such a wonderful young woman as education minister. The president wants to deliver, and when I see people blaming the current government for the current challenges within the education sector, I think they're a bit unfair. Some of the education policy is long term. Today, Peter, if you take your child to primary one and you start paying their school fees and you start paying for extra studies for them, you wouldn't reap the benefits of those investments until one day after 18, 19, 20 years. So education policy takes a long time. The current challenges we are facing in the education sector are due to interventions, policy interventions under Yahya Jammeh, who made the changes. We started having, they removed the primary, the common entrance system. They started having morning, afternoon shift. They failed to invest in Gambia College, and so on and so forth. That is why we are facing those challenges today. Our role as a government today
credit him for establishing the University of
the
Gambia.
No, of course, yes. We will give them credit. What I'm saying is that I'm talking higher education. I'm talking the basic education.
Oh, okay.
The Jammeh era made some very bad policy interventions in the education sector. That is why today we are facing these problems today. And the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, wants to rectify that. He wants to make sure that he brings back the glory days of education in this country under the Jawara era. So obviously, obviously, most of these things, challenges are inherited. Even the issue of students paying Gambia College fees is a Jammeh policy. It was passed in Cabinet in September 2016. Before Jammeh, it wasn't something that this has to be clear. It's not President Barrow who introduced the payment of college fees at Gambia College for students. It is Jammeh era policy. So what I'm trying to say is that basically what the President has is a vision to transform the Gambia's education sector into a 21st century education, where teaching and learning will be based on 21st century teaching and learning methods. And that is why he brought someone who's innovative, who's young, who understands the sector, and I couldn't agree more with Dr. Burangorenjai that she also might need expertise of people who are seasoned educationists to support as well. And that is and that's how upon this government is, so that we can be able to transform the education sector. But that is the President's priority, because the President believes that no country can develop if you get basic education wrong. You must get it right. That is the basis for any. It's the foundation. Yeah. Just like any families, most families' trajectories change for the better by investing in their children's education. And when they grow up, the family changes. So obviously we understand how important that is. That is why the President was very cautious. And people are saying he needs to appoint a minister now. He was rushing. No, he was taking his time to get the best for the job, and he got one of the best for the job. And nobody can fault her. And nobody can fault the President. And now the President has a vision to transform education sector in this country. And within the next 5, 6, 7 years, we'll see the benefits of these investments and this intervention.
Well, she impressed not only the doctor, she impressed me as well. On to the next text. Hi, Peter. Good morning. I am Sidiko Suno from Faraba Banta. As a concerned citizen and a football fan, I am appealing to the Gambia government to install speed bumps to limit the speed of vehicles after a road accident killed 4 young football fans and injured many of them in Kafuta. Let the government improve road safety in Kafuta, Faraba and Koloro, because most of these villages have their football fields besides the main road, and Kumbo East District Sports Committee used to play most of their Nawetan games in these villages. May the Lord reward them with Jannah and speedy recovery to those injured. Speed bumps.
Well,
they don't cost much.
Unfortunate incident, and that we extend our heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased, those who lost their lives, but also pray for those who are injured for speedy recovery. Yes, I think measures will be taken. The police will take note. Such incidences cannot happen and should not be allowed to happen in this country, anywhere in this country, whether it's Faraba or in Basse. I think the government is very serious about road safety. Recently, I'm aware that the NRA and the Ministry of Work are working on policies and are working on interventions to promote road safety in the country. But I also agree with the fact that if before the speed bumps now come, because it takes time to put these things in place, I think what can be done as a short-term intervention is that whenever there's a football game, they need to call for police presence at the site so that the police can control the traffic until the crowd disperse. Yeah. So I think it's unfortunate, it's unavoidable, and I think the government of the Gambia will make sure that we do everything possible to further promote road safety in the Gambia.
Good morning, Peter. Please remind the Honorable Minister of Information that the Barrow government's denial of burning issues affecting Gambians is making the populace lose confidence in the government. What's wrong with allowing the Diaspora Club to go ahead with their proposed project and move the proposed World Bank project to another village or town?
Like I said, the government of any country makes decisions, and they make decisions based on assessments. In this case, the Minister of Health has made an assessment and deemed it fit to revoke the license. Now, I'm not sure what are the basis of those assessments. Like I said, what I can say here as a suggestion is for the Diaspora Club to engage the government and the Ministry of Health to discuss and find a way forward. A way forward that will be in the best interest of everyone. The government feels at this point that going with the World Bank project is in the best interest of the people of Chairman Nyanyida and the Gambia at large. If the government makes that assessment and makes that decision, and anybody who thinks that this one is wrong, engage government and discuss, and we'll find a way forward.
Hello, Mr. Peter. With your guest coming on her own to the studio, I'm moved by her decision and through her biography and her narration on transparency. What I mean here is, if only half of our ministries were on the same footsteps, we would be corruption-free. And this is coming from Alpha Jallo of Sinchu Sori. The Mopsa minister is getting a lot of love this morning, but actually she really spoke.
I'm not surprised. I've worked with her at the university for many years. We've done a lot of things together, me and her, at the university. I was the director of student affairs. When I left that job, she took over director of student affairs. So I've done a lot of things with her. We've gone to...
I would like to be director of student affairs because they always end up apparently being ministers.
So I think I'm not surprised, to be honest. I know the kind of person she is. I know what she can do. I know her capacity. So whatever I hear people will say today, I know already. So that is, I'm not surprised.
How far has the following reported police investigations gone? IEC audit report. Police officer arrested for molesting a lady at the beach. The electrocuted guys at Nyomi, Mbemba Drame, the throwing of tear gas at UTG students, and the GPA ratings unit scandal. No updates still. Seems they are being poured cold water over and swept under the carpet.
I think it's important that we keep on updating the public about these issues, and I think I would appreciate if you can forward that list to me.
Okay.
And I'll now make a follow-up and come back next week and give updates on each and every. I know the police are doing their job. It's a lot of things happening at the same time, and you can see the list. I know the police also, they are doing everything they can to make sure that this, and if you want to do these investigations right, and you want to follow due process, and you want to make sure everything is within the framework of the rule of law, you need to take your time and do this investigation so they're right. We commend the police for their hard work, but like I said, it is the responsibility of every government to keep the public updated on pertinent national issues. And I would be very happy if I can get a list of those things, and I can now...
We will forward it to you.
Yes, and I can now make follow-ups, and I can update the public next week about the status of these issues as highlighted by the person who sent the text.
If you thought D.A. Jawo only, has a go at government, well, think again. A top radio station using candles to present programs. LOL.
Well, it brings back fond memories. It's not bad for me. I think it reminds me of my childhood days when GUC was wreaking havoc in the country. Yeah, we used to use candles to study. So obviously, we've gone so far. Now the government of the Gambia, under His Excellency the President, has brought electricity to more homes than ever before since independence. Could you believe that, Peter, between 1965 to 2017,
yes,
197 meters were deployed, meters were deployed. Between 2017 to now, over 200,000 meters are deployed. It means that the electricity expansion project is ongoing, and also we promise the Gambian people that universal electricity access will be achieved within the shortest possible time. Not only access, but also it will not be erratic, because now we are working on expanding the grid and modernizing the grid and making sure that now we are also trying to do hybrid. We want to reduce our reliance on heavy fuel, HFO, in terms of power generation. We are going green. The Jambur, the summer projects are ongoing, and so on and so forth. So very soon, electricity would not be an issue in the Gambia. We'll be talking about something else, but not electricity.
But when? When will that time come?
And like I said, Peter, all these things are inherited. Electricity, energy policy energy policy is long term again. Energy development policy is long term.
Yeah, we agree.
This
was why we had the long term.
That's what I'm saying.
This was why we had a long term roadmap that was to complete in 2025.
But we are in 2025.
Yeah.
So very soon we'll complete this. But also remember in 2017 when President Barrow came to power,
yes,
the electricity crisis was at its peak.
Agreed.
Which precipitated the so-called Occupy Westfield.
Yeah.
Protest because of the lack of electricity in the country.
No,
that has changed now.
Not lack of electricity.
The erratic,
insufficient.
But it was very erratic. It was very bad.
Agreed.
Okay, so now what we have done now is to stabilize the situation. While we stabilize, I'm coming.
The how is important, and we will come to the how.
I'll come to that.
Yes.
Whilst we see the government of the Gambia currently has two very important, difficult challenges. One is to solve today's problems as it is now because it's urgent, but also make plans to ensure that future problems are solved. We don't want to pass it on to the next.
So which one do you prioritize?
So both. That is the challenge now. So what we are doing now is to ensure that we have short-term plans to provide what is needed now, whilst at the same time making plans to ensure that when the next government comes, some of these problems you will not inherit them like we inherited. Some of these problems in the energy sector, in lack of road infrastructure, in lack of water, in problems in the education sector, in the healthcare sector. What this government is doing now, despite population growth, rapid population growth, despite rapid rural-urban migration, despite the global bottlenecks that have really affected economies around the world, despite the transition, which was very difficult, within 7 years, this government has achieved a lot. And this is commendable.
They have only they have only just over what? About 2 years.
But the first 5 years was a messy transition. You knew that before you settle down. Before you,
and what about the second and potentially final 5 years?
Yeah, so that is what now you've seen. We've started seeing the changes. We've seen the roads infrastructure is coming up. You've seen that now we are doing something about NAWEC, about the energy sector. We are going green now. So believe me, by 2025, 2026, we will achieve universal electricity access, and erratic power supplies would be a thing of the past. It is getting better, and I think now we are doing well in that front. When it comes to water, we've served more communities with water than ever before. When I was in politics, when I was going around the country.
When you were in politics, aren't you in politics?
No, when I was in the opposition.
Yeah,
I'll take it back. When I was in the opposition, I've gone to many villages in this country. Yeah. I've been to villages where the most basics were missing: water, electricity, education, schools, roads, hospitals, market, nothing. But now I go back to these places, I see schools built by under His Excellency's leadership. I have seen they have electricity. You will see a hut and an AC there. And you see employment being created by welders, by people having access to refrigerators. People don't go and buy glass water anymore. We've brought electricity to communities. We've brought water to communities. We've built roads and brought it to communities. And these things are ongoing. And believe me, within the very shortest period of time, the President, His Excellency, will achieve what no other president has achieved since independence, even pre-independence.
All right. Ismaila, I think you've got your full complement of 30 minutes. Just in wrapping up, what would you like to say?
Well, the president is currently in Ghana for public consumption. Is there to attend the inauguration of John Mahama, who got elected on, I think it was December 7th by the Ghanaian people. The inauguration, I think it's today, and the president is gracing the occasion, ably representing the Gambia, because Gambia and Ghana have very strong bilateral ties. We are both, apart from the fact that we are both former British colonies, but we have a special ties. Most Gambians, in fact, studied in Ghana before Gambia got our own university. So the ties are very, very, very strong. And at the state level, government level is very strong. So the president is representing us. He's in Ghana, Accra, currently attending the inauguration of John Mahama.
So we are not, we don't hold any grudge against Ghana for beating us to the position of Commonwealth Secretary General.
No, but these things happen. It's diplomacy. I mean, elections are won and lost. I mean, we did our best. I think Honorable Tangara did an amazing job in the campaign trail. He did well. But then, like I said, these things are decided by the countries, and they voted for who they think is the best candidate, and she won. I mean, as long as it comes from West Africa, it is the same. West Africa is the Commonwealth Secretary General. I think West Africa should take pride in that.
Fantastic. Ismaila, thank you very much for coming again. That's Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, the Minister of Information, News, or Information, Media and Broadcasting Services.